Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of Big Brother 16. I'm Jacob Harple, and with me is the guy who kind of looks like he might be Amanda's cousin, Aaron Nunley. How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing very good. Me and Amanda are distantly related.
I thought so.
Different racial levels.
A very cultural family, very diverse.
Yes, very diverse.
And also joining us is our very own, our knight in shining armor. He won't throw a comp unless you ask him to. It's Keith Guerrero.
I won't throw a comp. I will never throw a competition, but, I'm going to throw one right now. Immediately, following this segment.
So, it's time to talk about Sunday night's episode, the nomination and Battle of the Block episode. I guess first thing I wanted to talk about was the show opens up and we kind of get a little DR from Nicole, who, it comes across that she's very sad about winning HOH. She was definitely wanting to throw it, it seems, and she just had that lucky number 29. Do we think that winning HOH hurt Nicole, or do we think that she'd be able to play it off? She sounded pretty upset about it.
I think Nicole. I think that winning HOH was good for her because she wasn't a member of the Bomb Squad. She wasn't a part of this big alliance. And now she's getting information as HOH that she would not have gotten otherwise. She was in a world where she thought she was in a good position, but she was outside of an 8-person alliance. I think her winning HOH will kind of get the gears turning a little bit for Nicole. Like, this is the third week. Okay, it's time to make deals more than just the blonde threesome, Like, she needs to start playing a lot of people in the house because just being the fun girl that's easy to get along with isn't going to get you far. So I think it was good for her, even regardless if she feels that way or not. It's just a matter of how she takes it this week.
I also agree. I think it's good for her. Her winning HOH and doing it on a week where everybody wants Devin gone, where she, like he said, she gets information. I just think it's like there's no real negatives besides having to nominate somebody who might be mad about it. But I mean, everybody knows who the target is, so I think it's good for her. She shouldn't cry.
I agree. I think I feel like this HOH it's just whatever she puts into it. So, like you two said, she's very fortunate that there is a clear-cut house target. I think it was this week for her, it was all about just making the right nominees as far as pawns go. Looking back on it, I think there are a few things she could have done differently as far as the nominees, but we'll talk about that later in the show. But yeah, I think she was overreacting a little bit. Like, yeah, it sucks to win HOH third week, but I mean, there's 2 HOHs every week if you think about it. So she's like, it's 3 weeks and we've had 6 total HOHs. So I think she's totally fine.
Jacob, I have a question for you real quick about Nicole.
Yes.
And we might go into this later, but I still want an answer.
Answer house guy.
So, based on Nicole's, casting, she says she's a steward of the game. She says she loves Big Brother. To me, I found it very surprising that she was cracking under pressure as HOH, given that that's one of the main responsibilities, the main things you think of when entering the house. How do you think she fared as a fan of the show once being into that very powerful position?
All right, you guys know how I feel about Nicole, all right? That being said, I think she definitely kind of let people get to her this week. I think Derek kind of pushed her into making the Derek was like, you should nominate Amber, and that's who Nicole wanted, so she felt like she was making that decision. But as far as the second nominee, I think just with what Amber and Derek was saying, I don't know, I felt like she kind of got pressured into putting up someone that Donnie's trust with Nicole got hurt. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
I think no matter whether you're a super fan or not, I think when you go into that house, it's you feel like you can prepare for something like that, but it's totally different when it happens. So, I mean, and I would say that about any person, but I think I think she definitely let the stress get to her, and I think it really affected her game.
And she made a reactionary nomination.
Yeah,
with Donnie.
And not only a reactionary nomination, but the information she received was from somebody she was nominating. She got that information from Amber. So I found it very surprising that she was trusting the information from someone she's nominating to make the second nominee. And also
didn't talk to Donnie until after nomination. So just
and that's another thing too that I was gonna say. Like, she should have confronted the issue before she reacted to it.
Yeah.
And so, and like Donnie, who I feel like just from some of the DRs, we've known that Donnie and Nicole, like Donnie really likes Nicole. I think Donnie would really like to work with Nicole. Now he's going to be a little bit hesitant with talking game with Nicole because, you know, he said one thing and then he's on the block. So, I don't know. I agree with the whole Amber telling her, like, I don't know. It was a really weird situation. But we'll kind of go into those nominees a little bit later. The next big thing I wanted to talk about was Devin blows up the Bomb Squad. I feel like the Bomb Squad's being blown up every episode. I feel like someone's telling someone else about the Bomb Squad.
The Bomb Squad's over. 5 minutes later, we're back.
We're back. The Bomb Squad is just like those like middle school girls who just, you know, I'm never talking to you again. And 5 minutes later, okay, we're back in the alliance. It's fine.
I don't think the Bomb Squad realizes when you pull the pin on your bomb, you can't put it back in. The chemical's already mixed up. It's about to go down. It's about to blow up. You can't just reconfigure this.
It's a squad of bombs. So everybody can set their bomb off at any time, but they're still all ticking.
It was weird because, you know, for anyone that watches the live feeds, like, we know that, like, this event happened before even, like, Zach stayed. So it was just kind of like, I don't know, it was out of nowhere. It just made Devin seem even more crazy, as difficult as that might be. I don't know, like, do you think at this point it even matters? Like, because Hayden knew about the Bomb Squad from the last episode. So it's just kind of like, what, that's like 9 people that knows in a house of 14. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like there was absolutely no impact from doing that.
Well, I think the only impact could have been the Christine Nicole dealio. Because, I mean, everybody else, they're not even, like, where's your power? Where's your numbers? Because they're, like, Brittany's nice to everybody, but who are you aligned with? Victoria is nice to Frankie, but who are you aligned with? Jacosta's got God, but who are you aligned with? So, I don't know.
One thing about the Christine and Nicole combo that I really would have liked, and this is another, like, thing I was kind of disappointed with Nicole, is I wanted Nicole to pick up the fact that the only reason Christine was telling this to her was because it was already coming out. And we didn't get a DR about that because, and I think that's, like, what Christine's reason for not telling her was that she was so scared of telling her or something. Like, no. I'm sorry, but
if I'm your final 2, you tell me everything that happens.
You're going to tell me that you're in an 8-person alliance because you're scared. Like, like, if I'm Nicole, it's just like, you're scared. Like, how do you think that makes me feel, you know? So I would have liked to see Nicole pick up and be like, you know, maybe I can't trust Christine as much as I, you know, thought I could. And which would have been another reason for her to not nominate Donnie, because I just feel like you should avoid pissing off people that are outside of that 8-person alliance, because if that 8-person alliance sticks, you're going to have to start rallying people, and Donnie's less likely to trust you because, you know, you put him on the block.
Donnie was trying very hard for the 8 people to be nominated, the Bomb Squad.
And, like, Nicole's critique, or I believe it was Nicole's critique, that said, like, all Donnie sees is those 8 people. Nicole, if you don't see that, that's an issue. That's an issue with your gameplay right there. If you don't see that these 8 people aligned on day 2 and stuck with it this long, that is a huge issue, a huge red flag. Yeah, they're telling you, oh yeah, the Bomb Squad's blown up, it's done. No, in the back of their mind, they already aligned. They're comfortable with each other. Why are you going to allow yourself to nominate anyone but the people inside those 8? That doesn't make sense.
Donnie, that should have been. She really should have. I completely agree with that because, like, they want to get rid of Devin, but that's just because he's such a house target. Like, they have to understand that Devin is hurting their game too. So when they're like, "Oh, this alliance isn't real," like, because we want to get rid of Devin, so that means this alliance isn't real. It's like, no, like, they're falling into that trap of doing their dirty work, and the 7 of them are still really, really tight. Like, Derek, Zach, and Cody are super tight, I believe. And then Frankie's is basically their bridge to Caleb and Amber. And then Christine seems to still be kind of tight with some of the guys. So it's like that's 7 strong players sticking, like, that have the potential of sticking together.
Not to mention Hayden is a full-fledged Bomb Squad member.
Full-fledged.
Welcome to the squad. So I agree. I don't know. I just feel like we're slowly watching Nicole kind of getting played by Christine, and I don't know. I just wish she would be. I wish her eyes were more open to how scary that alliance is.
Yeah, she took it more so like I'm offended that I wasn't in the 8-person alliance. Who wants to go eat?
I don't think we got any confession from her that conversation. Am I wrong?
Literally,
I know she said something. I mean, she made a little comment that was kind of to the lines of, like, I guess even though she didn't tell me about it originally, I guess I still have no choice to trust Christine. But I mean, it still wasn't as serious as it should have been. Like, she should have been like, you know, like, what? Like, it really wasn't. She didn't say it in that serious of a tone. It was kind of like they told her to say it, you know.
That was a perfect metaphor. Like, the brakes should have been stomped on the floor. Like, the car should have come to a complete stop. But Nicole's kind of coasting, like, rubbernecking, looking outside at the train wreck called Devin. So I don't know.
I'm not in this 7. I put this person on the block that trusted me. I'm not talking to these people who have no alliances. What am I doing? Flirting with Hayden all the time.
Yeah. Who got invited to the bomb squad too, but I don't think Hayden would choose them over her.
No, he wouldn't.
No, he's so infatuated with her. But it's just like, it's week. You're entering week 3. The alliance was supposedly created on day 2. Christine, like, you're not going to tell me anything about that. You know, that was just a huge red flag. So anyway, moving along, we kind of get a conversation with Derek and Nicole about them wanting to work together. Now, here's something that I didn't like about Derek, and I don't know, maybe it's just me feeling like he's too confident and cocky, and I'm just like, please don't get HOH-itis. Like, get your vaccine, Derek. Please take the vaccine. When he's like, I know the game. I know what game you're playing, Nicole, because we're playing the same game. You're playing it like Dan or something like that. I'm just like, whoa. Like, what are you doing, Derek? Like, don't be calling the girl out on her game. Like, that's how you make someone nervous. Like, that's so. And then they try and, like, get, like, a deal together to, like, get Devin out, and I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like Derek. I feel like the whole conversation was just super, super fake.
Well, yeah, remember, Derek never spoke game with Nicole up until that point. Like, them being HOH, that forced them to talk game with each other. He was the reason why Nicole was nominated when she was, because he was eager to put her name out there. And that's a really big strength of Derek. And it's also in his nature. He's an undercover cop. He's very observant in the situation, and he knows what type of game Nicole's playing from his perspective. And to be honest, it's actually kind of accurate that Nicole is playing the type of game that he said that she is. So that type of interaction between Derek and Nicole, if Derek didn't initiate it, would have never happened. They would have never spoken the entire time, and Nicole would still be crying about who she should nominate.
So, do you think that was a good move on Derek, just to kind of, I wouldn't say he called her out, but he definitely, like, was just like, hey, just want to let you know, I know how you're playing.
I mean, I know it is very accusatory, but you know, that's from his background of being a police officer. Good thing he didn't tell the house that, because then he would have a negative light on him. But you know, he's like, people look at him, they're like, oh, he's a family man, he's a sweet guy. But like, yeah, if they would have known his occupation, it kind of could have hurt him some more, or like even worse. But I think that the conversation, like Derek, he still seemed very non-threatening. He was saying like, you know, there's a lot of similarities between the way that we're playing, Nicole. The entire house, we all just want the same thing. We want Devin to get out of the game. And so, like, we should work together. Like, we should make sure that what we do coincides with getting absolutely no blood on either one of our hands. And that will be with Devin leaving this week. And plus, HOH isn't safe after Battle of the Block, so, you know, putting that type of deal out there would be great to ensure your own safety by the end of the week as well.
I find that both of them are playing very similar games because both of them know how Big Brother works out of the few people that do. And so they both seem like people who were just kind of like sit and watch. And I mean, Nicole's more of a let everybody else do kind of stuff while she watched. I don't want to be associated. I wasn't there when this happened. Like, you can't come and pull me into your, you know, story. Whereas Derek is being very good at puppet mastering people without them realizing it. But they're both being, I don't want to say like middle of the road, but I mean, it's kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm personally, I thought the whole conversation was like fake. They're not going to work together because they're too close to each other. And people who are close to each other, like as like type of gameplay, tend to go after each other.
I know exactly what you mean. It's kind of like Taquita and Danash and making the band. Like, only one of them's going to get that spot. Like, literally, like, they look exactly the same. Like, there's no way that I would take both of them. Like, only one of them is going to get that spot.
That's a really good point. Like, especially with, like, the type of game that they're playing. Like, I feel like that game style is you have to take out the other players playing that way. Like, you have to be the one person.
Right, like Pow Pow's gone. Donnie can be the floater or the the pawn for the rest of the season. Yeah,
he's got to stop winning competitions though.
Yeah.
Or else they're gonna have to backdoor Donnie instead of Devin. But I thought it was interesting. One, I think, you know, I just feel like we've done a lot of harping on Derek, but honestly, I think Derek's biggest strength, and I think the one thing I give him over Nicole, is that Derek is so good at pushing his agenda without making it sound like it's his agenda. Like with getting Nicole on the block, with getting Zach to stay, with getting Devin on, the plan to backdoor Devin. Like, it's like, oh, this is what the house needs to do. Like, it's going to be good for the whole house. We have to get Devin to stay. We have to get Devin out of here. And I think he has to be careful because with all the work that he did with Zach and winning HOH, you know, we kind of said last episode, in my opinion, I feel like he's sticking his head out just a little too much, and he just really needs to take a step back because he's so good at planting ideas into people's heads and making them think that they're their ideas. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I do want to point out, though, that Derek made two key moves in the game that were actually influenced by one person, and that was Caleb. He was able to manipulate Caleb. So I don't know if he has control over a lot of people, but he definitely has control over Caleb in the way that he pushes his agenda and makes Caleb think that it's his own decision. Like with saving Zach, Caleb switched, therefore that whole side that was close to Devin switched, you know, to keep Zach. Mm-hmm. And then for this episode, Derek had the idea for Caleb to be nominated by himself, but made it so that it was a conversation, and then Caleb suggested it himself, so it made it seem like Caleb had ownership to that idea, when in actuality that was Derek's intention all along. So he's really good at playing Caleb specifically, which is really benefiting his game. It's kind of like a I don't know, somebody who's the horse and he's the person riding it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
he's the person who writes the cue cards for the president.
There you go. Well, before we jump into that, the drunken love Battle of the Blocks plan.
Beyonce.
I want to touch on the Team America task real quick. So they get their first task, and I'm happy and I'm not happy at the same time.
That's how I feel. Because
I'm happy in the fact where it's like, okay, it doesn't seem like they're gonna ruin any of these people's games, like with these America tasks. Like I guess we'll have to see with voting.
But at the same time, I feel like it could.
Mm-hmm. Well, because like if their first mission is spreading rumors, then like I don't know, and I think we'll see more about it in these next 2 episodes. That it's going very, very well, but I think later on the road, it's really gonna hurt like all 3 of their games.
I bet that when Frankie and Donnie were pulled into the pantry by Derek, they're like, okay, time to be best behavior, this is the HOH, but then they find out it's the Team America thing. I think that's hilarious that Derek was the one that had to explain it to them, because they're just like, okay, what is he going to talk about? What is he going to talk about? Hopefully it's Team America. Right? Hopefully I'm not nominated this week.
I don't know, and I feel like, I think it's a little lame. Like, I'm sorry, like, it's like it's Team America, it's their alliance, and like all 3 of them seem very, very excited about them. And then it's like, oh, your first mission is you gotta spread a rumor, and it's just kind of like it's like one of those things where you think you're getting a really, really sick like Christmas present, and then you open it up and it's like socks.
I know what I'm getting Jacob this Christmas.
But like seriously though, like I don't know, it's just like. They make it seem so cool, and they've been building it up for like 3 weeks, and like, of course, like there's plenty of time for them to prove me wrong because it's just getting started. But I don't know.
Joey would have nailed this out of the park.
I know.
Spread
right?
a rumor? Oh, I already started.
I'm related to BB16's Alex. I think the Zach Amanda thing was a clever choice, though, because I read up on it, and they're both from Florida, and I always thought that Zach was, like, Dan's love child, but now I can definitely see the resemblance with him and Amanda. Especially after the ceremony speech.
Yeah, like the whole loud nature.
I would have loved if they, like, blamed it on someone that was still in the house, though, instead of Pow Pow. That would have made it more delicious, in my opinion.
That's the problem that I have with that task, is that they blamed it on Pow Pow. I can't remember what, Nicole thought something was going on with America, like a task, America's player or something. I don't remember what it was. But I would think that Nicole would think that was suspicious. Like, oh, like Zach's related to Amanda, and it so happens that Pow, the only person or one of the 2 people who's not here anymore, was the one that found out this information. Like,
yeah,
it's too convenient.
It is
in a game like Big Brother. So
like I also think it's pretty funny that I feel like that's the most game talk that was centered around Pow Pow, and she's not even in the game anymore.
Yeah.
We got more involvement of the game with Pow Pow with a twist than when she was actually like playing the game.
You know what I hope happens? I hope that I don't know, maybe like the 3rd week of America's Player, because I do think that they're going to try to save each other, like if they're ever nominated or whatever. I hope that they all receive a card inside their little confessional. They open it and say, if you evict one of America's players, you get their share of the $5,000. So you will no longer get $5,000. You'll get $7,500 for completing this task. That would be legit. And then it just turns into like a battle between the final 2. Either they start like work, but then you have that dynamic because you're working together, but you're also trying to get each other out because you'll get a bigger share of money.
Could we see? So you're saying that we could potentially have a Team America Civil War?
Yes, more like a North-South-West rivalry.
We got to figure out where they're from. We got like definitely Frankie and Donnie North and South. Where's Derek? I think Derek's more northern. So right now the Union's got a leg up on the Confederacy.
So you're right. It won't work with this twist since it's called Team America, and we're the United States. We're unified. Yeah.
What a great message to spread about our
But that would just be
turn on each other for money.
That would be awesome in general for like another twist, I guess, later. But yeah, I guess it can't happen.
Like an MTV challenge.
Yeah.
eliminate people. I took the rest of their money. Take that check.
I want to see one of them just blow it up, like when they're leaving. I think that would be so entertaining to watch. Granted, I don't want because I think it would be Frankie blowing up Derek and Donnie.
It would be Frankie. Derek and Donnie don't seem like they would. I mean, Donnie might whisper it to somebody, but I still can't see him really doing it. It'd be Frankie.
Well, I guess it depends if they tell him not to do it beforehand. Because if they don't tell him not to, just like Nicole with throwing the Battle of the Block, then it's fair game.
It's also funny because I couldn't imagine a Big Brother world where Derek leaves the house before Donnie or Frankie. So, yeah, it would be either Frankie or Donnie that would spill the beans.
Just interested. Who do you think will be the first Team America boot?
Donnie.
I think Donnie, too.
Yeah, I'd have to say Donnie. Just the way with the way the house is going right now, I think Donnie just doesn't have too much support. Like, I think I feel like the only jar that Donnie has his hand in is the Team America jar, where Frankie and Derek literally have, like, cabinets full of jars.
Yeah. But until the 7 original Bomb Squad, whatever you want to call it, like, until they have to turn on each other, like, if Donnie can escape those first few, like, dangerous weeks where, like, his number really could be up, then he could just literally be the pawn, or he could just float back and forth between the civil war of that friendship circle, So it depends. It just depends if Donnie can make it that far to avoid being taken out for, like, being a Brittany or being a Victoria, being a Jocasta, where you just don't have allegiance to anyone. Like, one of them will stay. The rest of them will probably get pre-jury.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about, I think, what is probably one of the biggest storylines of the episode was the plan to throw the Battle of the Block. So basically, we know that Nicole is nominating Amber, and Derek is trying to think of who to put up. He's definitely going to put up Jocasta. I'm surprised he even remembered she was in the house. It's like, oh, put up Jocasta. And then Derek comes up with the idea of just putting up Caleb and basically justifying it with, oh, well, I'm giving you the opportunity to score some points with, your girl Amber. I am so frustrated with Caleb because I wouldn't call him a bad player. Like, I mean, let's be real. He's a bad player. It's just so dumb. Just listen to him, like, back to the premiere episode. Oh yeah, I don't throw nothing. Yeah, that ain't me. It's not in my blood. Competing's in my blood. I'm like a lion. And then now, it's not even 2 weeks, and he's already like, I'll do it. I'll throw it. This is the girl that I'm gonna marry. That was, oh my god, that moment. Your mom will probably want us to get married, right? Jeez. I'm like, run, Amber, run!
No, keep her in there. She has to... I felt bad for her at the beginning, but no, she's not doing anything about it. So, you know what? You stay in there. He talks all that lovey-dovey stuff. She doesn't say anything back to him. Y'all are perfect for each other. What I don't like is that people... It seems like very few people are really thinking about, like, in a game of Big Brother, people will do and say things for a reason. You say that you like somebody because you genuinely do like them and you want them to trust you or whatever, or you say that you like them because you want to fool them and think that think that you like them. Like, there's always a motive, and people aren't really thinking about that, and it really frustrates me. Like, for Caleb to offer, quote unquote, to be on the block, like, why would somebody who's your alliance member, who wants to, go far with you, risk you being there? Like, you're not even, like, I don't understand why you're not thinking like that. Like, why would he let me do this? Why would he agree to this? I don't know.
With Caleb and Derek?
Yeah, I feel like people, it's just like what you said earlier about Nicole and Christine. Why isn't Nicole thinking, why didn't Christine tell me earlier? Like, people should always know that people are saying things or doing things for a reason, and it's probably not the one that they're verbally telling you. There's probably a hidden reason.
it was just such a kiss-ass combo. It's like, oh, dude, like, you're going to be her knight in shining armor, like, and Caleb just eats it up. It's ridiculous. I'm just like, Caleb, Derek is like putting these strings on your back. Like, can't you see it? It's right there.